Hopefully, he wasn't about to fire her. Quitting her job at the bureau was dumb, but teasing the obviously angry man storming into his office right now to his breaking point was idiotic, unless she wanted to lose this job too. Giving in to temptation for a little revenge had been a very bad idea. The worst. Susan had underestimated Dave Logan. She really didn't think he'd catch on that she was ringing his bell, and he deserved to be tortured a little for the way he'd treated her. It was clear now that he was not a man to be messed with any more than she had been that woman at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That little insight had come too late, though. She knew without a doubt she was about to pay the price for the laughs she and Slade had at his expense. Slade's speculation for the reason behind Logan's baggy suit comment, "He probably wants to see what's under them," painted a nasty picture of Dave Logan. He was a sexist pig. His behavior was totally not PC in today's workplace. Susan felt like her best contribution to Deep Six security before she left would be teaching Dave Logan a valuable lesson. Slade agreed, and even helped her devise a plan. They'd been spending their lunch breaks laughing about the results. It looked like the plan had backfired, big time, and she might be the one learning the lesson here. Keep your head down and do your damned job. Lesson learned. But Susan wasn't wrong in this situation, and she wasn't going to cower down or beg Dave Logan to keep her. Susan knew the best defense was always a good offense, so she gathered up her Barracuda bravado, stiffened her shoulders, and lifted her chin as she walked through the doorway before shutting the door behind her. Logan's eyes flew to the sucker in her mouth, which was the only thing keeping her mouth shut at the moment, and he frowned. "Throw that damned sucker in the garbage and have a seat," he growled as he reached down to open a drawer in his desk. Susan withdrew the sucker and ground her teeth as she hovered at the trash can, debating whether to shove it up his nose instead. She could do it, but she could also end up on her ass outside the building, jobless, or in handcuffs. The fact that thought sent a little thrill along her nerve endings upset her. Biting back a growl of her own, Susan dropped the sucker into the empty can with a loud thud. "Happy?" she asked angrily as she strode to the chair across from his desk and plopped down before swinging one of her legs across the other. An electric shock zapped her, taking her breath. Susan held back a whimper as her fingernails dug into the wooden arms of the chair, and her eyes flew up to Dave Logan, who was frowning at her. She held her breath, fighting through the vibrations pulsing through her inner muscles. When they finally slowed to a dull thud, her breath rushed out, and moisture soaked her there. How in the hell could she forget about the second dumbest thing she'd ever done in her life? She needed to remember to sit more carefully. Cautiously, she uncrossed her legs and wiggled in the chair until she was comfortable. The seam on the tight yoga pants didn't help her problem. "No, I'm not happy," Dave said flatly as his hot glare speared her. "You're disrupting my office, and I won't have it." His eyes took a quick trip to her toes and back up. Susan felt like he'd stripped her naked with his eyes and found her lacking. "How the hell am I doing that?" she asked shortly. "Getting cozy with my men, distracting them from what they're supposed to be doing, wearing skin-tight clothing. I don't know what game you're playing, but it's unprofessional. We have clients who come here, and I'm sure they don't want to see that." Susan folded her arms under her breasts, and Logan's eyes dropped to the edge of her tank top before shooting back up to hers. It was very quick, but Susan didn't miss it. She knew exactly what this man's problem was. He wasn't fooling her a bit. Dave Logan was hot and bothered. It also sounded a lot like he was jealous of Slade and Dex. "Nice try, Logan, but I have your number." "Well, obviously you don't mind seeing it since you're looking so hard," she accused with a short, dry laugh. "I've been here a week now, and not one client has come into the office. So I guess the question is, what is your problem, Dave Logan?